Hello and welcome. We are having a meditation moment. It is the 27th of March and we're in our Corona challenge. And the challenge really is to find a little more peace in our daily lives, a little more punctuations of peace between maybe newscasts and concerns we have personally or for our family and friends. And so what we have learned is that we have to take care of ourselves. We have to take care of this one here in order to even be effective in our world. And one way to do that is by really meeting our minds, meeting our bodies, acknowledging what we're feeling, acknowledging what is going on with us emotionally. And though some of us might have a pretty regular meditation or spiritual prayer practice or some sort of practice, it's really the time when we have to put it into practice. Sometimes some of us are fair weather meditators, which means we get really into it. It's really easy. We love our yoga classes. We love our meditation. And then all of a sudden we either get sick or some tragedy strikes and we let it all go. And then there's some of us who are foul weather meditators that pick up the practice because we need it the most and we know we need to take care of our body and mind. So whether you're a fair weather meditator who's trying to get your meditation on through this challenge or a foul weather meditator who is looking to start something new you can depend on and really connect to that sanctuary of peace and prayer and contentment that lives right inside you. I hope that I can support you today in your practice. And for those of you who are calling in, welcome. For those of you who are dialing in, I'm happy to see some of you and seeing your names on others. And if it's your first time meditating here with us, I do like to go over a few little tips that really helped me when I was starting my practice 30 years ago. And it was fits and starts for a while, for sure, because, not all meditations are one size fits all. Some of us really like loving kindness practices, others like breath awareness and mindful practices, others like mantra practices, others like self-inquiry practices. So what I thought I'd do today is teach you a meditation that I put together that combines a number of techniques. The first is being mindful. I believe every meditation begins by acknowledging what is here now, being really present with how you're feeling, what your body's feeling, what's going on in your environment, so you can settle into a less defensive way of being, a more expanded way of being. And then we'll start to pay attention to the body, being mindful of the body. Then we'll start paying attention to the heart center. And if you were to point to yourself, I bet most of you would point right here. You might say, I. Some of you might say I or I, but most of us, when we're talking about ourselves or something we feel deeply, will say, I feel this way, pointing to this, our heart center, our center point. So we're going to do what's called a heart-centered breath in the middle of this meditation, which is designed to activate and drop your attention from maybe all the concerns and worries and ideas and thinking this whole coronavirus thing through to feeling. They say sometimes the longest distance between 2 points is between the head and the heart. And so we're going to drop the attention right here, right to the center point of view, and imagine that the breath is moving in and out from here. It's a Sufi practice, it's a heart math practice, it's a Kundalini practice, and I'll guide you into that while we do this later. And then also we're going to ask ourselves some questions. There are many questions you can ask yourself in meditation. And it's important to note that when you're asking yourself meditation questions in meditations, it's not so much that you're looking for a spontaneous answer, though one might need it in the form of a visual or a feeling or a word or some insight you get. But most of the time, the answers show up when you're walking through the world mindfully, when your attention's in the present moment, when you're in the here and now, and all of a sudden a sign, a synchronicity, even your inner knowing will come up with something. So we ask ourselves some questions in meditation. And then lastly, we'll do a mantra practice. And we've been talking about mantras, and you might have your own that you enjoy. Some of us have never done a mantra practice before. We're going to do a simple one that I've been teaching off and on throughout this series, and we'll do that for a few minutes. The word mantra means instrument for the mind, and man is mind and tra is instrument or vehicle. I think of a mantra as like getting into a boat. It takes me from the island of chaos to the island of peace. And you don't even have to know how to drive the boat. You simply just get in. And that's like a mantra. And I'll teach you a little more as we go through the practice. And then, of course, I always suggest that you come out of meditation slowly. You know, I think one of the biggest mistakes new meditators and maybe even seasoned meditators make is when the bell goes off or the timer's up, they get up and just get going. For me, that feels like jumping out of bed too quickly when the alarm goes off, instead of savoring those moments of integration where the body's rested, the mind's a little quieter, and you can start to move into your day in a responsive way rather than reactive. So I'm really going to suggest you take your time coming out of meditation. Now, so what I wish someone had told me, a few little hints that I'm going to share with you. Number one, it's okay to get distracted in meditation. I might be saying something over here and you might be thinking about, you know, what you're going to have later on for a meal. You know, I might be saying something over here and all of a sudden you get distracted by sounds in the environment. I might be saying something here and you have a stomach pain, or maybe you feel your leg twitch. Any of that is fine. Your job in meditation, however, is just wrangle your attention easily and gently back to the focus of the meditation. And see if you can do this without beating yourself up or making a big deal about it. Because what we do know is how you treat yourself in meditation is how you treat yourself in your life, because we're creating new neural pathways. So secondly, or thirdly, don't try to have a certain experience, just have the experience you're having. You know, if you're feeling restless and bored, that's perfectly normal. If you're feeling emotional, that's perfectly normal. If you're feeling anxious, that's perfectly normal. If you're feeling restful and relaxed, that's normal. If you fall asleep, that's normal. If you lose track of everything I'm saying, that's normal too. So there's a lot of common experiences in meditation. We're not trying to make something happen. We're simply going to do the practice because the practice makes something happen. And lastly, we're going to let go of any expectations. I know some of you have been meditating for years and years like I have, and some of you are new. So let's all act as if we're new and have a meditation like with a beginner's mind. Okay, then don't give up. That's the last one. So stick with the practice as we do this. We'll practice for about 15 minutes or so, and then we'll open it up for a discussion. I'll be muting you if you accidentally unmute yourself, so don't take it personally. Ideally, you're going to be sitting still with your eyes either closed or capped, which means gazing softly towards the floor or towards the hands on your lap. Now, the hands on your lap can be in whatever posture position you like. It can be just clasped lightly, or palms down on your knees, or palms up on your knees, or in some of these what are called mudras, which are positions that you might be used to doing, like this, or like this, or like this. You know what? Comfort is the key here. So whatever's comfortable for you and whatever you love. Next, if you need to open your eyes or shift your posture around, you can do that. And I'm not going to be watching you. I'm over here meditating. Also, I don't know if I introduced myself. My name's Sarah McLean, and we've been doing this for a while now at the insistence of one of my friends who said, hey, now more than ever, we need to connect. And this is a great platform for this. And we're so lucky to be alone together in this way. So there are about over 65 of us on the call, and I'm really happy that you've joined in, and hopefully get a little peace, a little touchstone of peace throughout your day. And we're here again in 4 more hours. So if you need more, we're here. And thank you for joining us. So let's sit down and become mindful. Becoming mindful of what's here now, what you're feeling. Sometimes I like to start meditations with some deeper breaths, and I invite you to do the same, whether you can breathe in through your nose and out through your nose, or if you need to breathe through your mouth, you can do that. But breathing in slowly and fully, and then breathing out slowly and fully. Sending signals to your body with these long, slow, deep breaths that it's time to relax, that you don't have to keep your guard up. So give yourself a few of those at your own pace. And then let your breath return to its natural rhythm and depth whenever you want to. We're not going to try to control the breath. We're simply going to pay attention to the breath and let it be as it is, whether it gets faster or slower, or deeper or shallower. Meditation is all about this effortless effort. We put aside all of our to-do lists and we set aside the time for this practice. And we use a gentle awareness. So let's begin now by welcoming the sounds in the environment. Bringing your attention to your senses is a beautiful way to become very present with your life. Bringing the mind right here and the attention right here, rather than in the fears of the future or worries or regrets in the past or wishing things were different or the way they were. So when you listen to sounds and invite all the sounds, whether they're far, far away, whether they're in your immediate environment, or whether they're in your body, let's begin to welcome everything you hear. And then staying out of trying to identify the source of the sound, see if you can observe the sounds of the sounds. Perhaps some sounds are constant, while others seem to come and go, arising from the silence and returning to the silence. Just like my voice, just like your life. Sound is never a barrier to meditation. So we practice welcoming the sounds rather than avoiding them or ignoring them or judging them. We also want to practice welcoming what's here emotionally right now. So start to sense if there are any emotions that are present and welcome them all as you welcome the sound. Whether you feel something deeply or don't feel anything at all, simply notice and become aware of what is here. Observing it perhaps, naming it perhaps, and just knowing that emotions are energy in motion, and acknowledging them is a healthier way of allowing them to be here rather than pretending they're not. This is all about self-realization. What is here? And now we'll begin to notice if you feel any emotion in your body. Beginning to scan the body now and noticing if there's any sensation due to any emotion in the body. I'll guide you through a body awareness practice. And we're simply going to be observing sensations. If you need to label them, you certainly can, but we're going to stay out of the story around the sensations and simply feel the sensations just like we listened to the sound. So let's begin by noticing the sensations in your scalp and your forehead. Noticing what's here and welcoming every sensation, whether it's coolness or warmth, lightness or heaviness. Maybe you can feel the hair on your head or the air on your skin. Then bringing your attention to your eyes and your eyelids, letting them soften. Noticing whatever sensations are here. As you bring your attention now to your nose and your nostrils. Welcoming everything. Your cheeks. Your ears, inside and out. You're creating this intimacy with your body and with the sensations that are present, as the language of the body is sensation. Noticing now your lips, your mouth, your tongue. Becoming curious as to what's here. Maybe you notice where your lips touch your teeth. Noticing your chin and your jaw. And then bringing your attention to your neck, the back of the neck, and your throat. Becoming curious, letting sensations be here, letting go of stories, likes or dislikes, and letting your shoulders move away from your ears, lowering them, noticing the top of the back, and then noticing your arms as they hang comfortably from your shoulders. Notice where they're being supported. Perhaps you feel the clothing on your skin or where your arms meet your lap. And if your hands are clasped, perhaps you notice one hand holding the other. Welcoming everything and resisting nothing. As you bring your attention now to your back, scanning your back, noticing whatever sensations are here, avoiding commentary, avoiding judgment, but instead letting the back support you and feel the support behind you if you're leaning up against a chair or a cushion. Noticing your front body. Perhaps you notice the rise and fall of your chest, or you become aware of your breasts. or your diaphragm. And then softening your belly. Letting go of any tension in your hips and your pelvis. And feeling the support underneath you. Feeling the support wherever your feet are. Those points of contact with the chair or the floor or wherever you are. Noticing those junction points. And now letting your awareness expand. Noticing where you meet the air or space around you, sensing it with your eyes closed. Maybe the edges of you, if there are any. And notice the stillness that is here. And now bring your attention to the movements that you sense in your body. Whether it's subtle like tingling, or you can feel your pulse in your fingers, or it's more pronounced like the movement of the body in response to your breath. And allowing your attention now to rest on your breastbone, simply welcoming the sensation of breathing. And if it's easy for you, you can see, feel, or imagine that behind your breastbone, there is the center point of view. Either there's some warmth or some light, or just an inner knowing that this heart-centered breath starts to activate the qualities of your heart, the qualities of compassion and discernment, of connection, of wisdom and love. Is breathing in and out from that heart center. And now we'll begin to ask ourselves some questions. We'll do this silently. The first question you can ask yourself is, who am I? Who is this one sitting here? Ask yourself a few times without expecting any response, and then return to the stillness. The next question you can ask yourself is, what is my heart's desire? What is my heart's desire? Ask yourself a few times and return to the stillness. And then the next question is, how can I best love myself? How can I best love myself? Asking you, the wise one. Asking a few times and then returning to the stillness. And then letting the questions go and any answers that may have met them. Bring your attention now to the gentle movement of your breath. Just noticing the sensation of breathing. You don't have to change the breath in any way. Simply become mindful of it. The inhale, the exhale, the pauses in between. And we'll introduce a mantra to go along with the breath. On the inhale, the mantra is HAM, H-A-M, but pronounced HAM. On the exhale, the mantra is SA, S-A-H, SA. Breathing in, HAM. Breathing out, SA. This is a basic mantra that correlates with the sound of your breath and means I am that. But rather than thinking about the meaning, simply pay attention to the sound of the sounds. Hum on the inhale, saw as you exhale. I'll meditate like this for a couple of minutes and I'll keep track of the time. If you notice you're losing the mantra, just reintroduce it again and be kind to yourself. Hum, sa. And keeping your eyes closed, you can stop repeating the mantra and sit in the stillness. You might even bring into your awareness what you're grateful for in this moment. So I'll be sounding some chimes, but I invite you to keep your eyes closed as we move from meditation into activity slowly, what I like to call the integration period. Just noticing the sounds around you, welcoming how you feel. And moving from the stillness of meditation, slowly and opening your eyes at your own pace, you can begin to sense once again your breath, the space around you. Acknowledge how you're feeling emotionally and physically. And even if you don't think much happened in there, it's a great way to decelerate, to slow down, to lower your blood pressure, to optimize your immune system, and have a touchstone of restful awareness throughout your day. So you can open your eyes first with a downward gaze and then open them all the way at your own pace. It's a great way to practice going as slow as you like. There's no need to rush around. Sometimes that's just a habit. And I like to, before I open my eyes, or right as I'm opening my eyes, I like to bring my hands together in the prayer position and bring my thumbs to the chest. I invite you to do it if you care to. Just acknowledging that sanctuary inside, the altar of my heart, and that altar that's in your heart, and that sanctuary that's inside you, that is lit by the lamp of love and light. The same love that lives through me lives through you. And it's the same love that calls us all forth to lead our most beautiful, harmonious, and peaceful life. So I honor that in you. It's the same in me. And thank you for joining me on this meditation. It's a little longer than I had planned, but it was yummy. It was yummy for me. I hope it felt good for you. And I hope you feel a little rested and a little touchstone. I'm going to review what we just did, just in case you slipped away, which is perfectly good. We started by welcoming everything. Then we started with some deeper breaths. And then we moved in through the body and becoming mindful of the body, really becoming intimate with what's here, whether it's the emotions that are here or the body sensations. And then we did our heart-centered breath, imagining the breath moving in and out from the center of your heart. And then we started asking ourselves some questions. I know you can ask any questions anytime, but it's beautiful once you've kind of stilled the fluctuations of the mind to ask yourselves the questions. And whether you remember them or not, I'll tell you what they were. So first is, who am I? Which is an existential question, which is like a koan in a Japanese tradition of Buddhism, where you ask a question that's almost unanswerable, because you might have some answers, but none of them quite fit. So it's really just meeting that awareness with that question. But whatever came up for you is perfect. These are questions ideally you don't Google. The second one is, what is my heart's desire? I've worked with so many people who have never asked themselves that. And though there are certainly those that wander around with that question constantly in their mind, in that sort of desirous, endlessly desirous state, many of us don't even ask ourselves. And we take on what other people are like. For instance, the toilet paper frenzy. Yeah, you might need toilet paper, but maybe you don't need the 12 or 18 rolls, but you see everybody else doing it, so you think you desire it too. So we really need to ask the wise one, what do I truly long for? The next question was, how can I best love myself? And the answer is different for each one of us. The prescription's different. For me, I need a nap. I need another walk on the beach. I need to do some work. But this is my most nourishing time of the day. So, maybe yours is you need to take a bath or get outside in nature or call a friend or write a thank you note. So whatever it may be, only you know. How can you best love yourself? Maybe the answer was meditate more or be more mindful. So those are great questions to ask you. Then we did a mini mantra practice, Ham Sa. It's an ancient mantra based on the bija sounds of the breath. As people sit, you might even hear, if it's very quiet in your environment, you might even hear those sounds, hum on the inhale, sa on the exhale. With mantras like this, ideally you only use them in meditation as they bring your attention in the inner stroke, into that inner sanctuary. And you might not even have heard any of that because you might have been already gone. We did pay attention to the breath after the heart-centered breath. We paid attention to the breath moving in and out of the body. And then we ended after a couple of minutes with an integration period and bringing to mind what we're grateful for. So that's a practice I call the seed meditation. It's a simple, easy, everyday practice that it encompasses so many types of meditation, but I feel like all of them are essential. I used to be just a one type of meditation girl, and I learned there's benefits in heart-centered breath, in self-inquiry, in mindfulness, in mantra, and they're all slightly different benefits. So this is the full spectrum of practice. So we've got a lot of people checking in here in the chat box, and I love hearing where you're from and how you're doing. And I want to put my glasses on so I can read them. I also want to invite you to say hello if you'd like to unmute yourself, whether you're on your phone or you see that little menu along the bottom. Just say who you are. You don't have to say that question, the answer to that question, who you are, unless you want to. Like, I am a being of light, or I am courageous, I am passionate, whatever you want, but let us know where you're calling from. And I'll read some of these chats. Upstate New York, welcome. In Colorado, Marcia, good to see you. And Anne in Arizona. Yeah, I used to live in Sedona. I've recently moved here to Santa Barbara. Utah, thank you. Upstate New York, Salem, Oregon. Monkey Mind, yes, Monkey Mind is good. The thoughts and meditation, one of my greatest teachers, Deepak Chopra, said, if you are restless and bored, it's a good meditation. So how about that? How about that reframe? Doesn't mean it's not working. It just means you had a lot of stress to get through and a lot of waves on the top of the ocean. And thank you from Milwaukee. And Cheryl, very exciting. This meditation is important today. Yep, and some of us have to go back to work like Kurt, me too. And Dawn, thanks for being here. And Diane, namaste from Arizona. New Jersey, Rachel, hi. And Blaine, Washington, hi, Michelle. Yes, and everyone from South Carolina, Lawrence, Kansas, Scottsdale. Anyone else want to share how you're doing, where you're from, what's going on?
Hi, Sarah.
Hey, Reed.
Hi. This was so good today. I really needed this. And 4 days from today, is the first anniversary of my mother's death. And I've been walking around with a sense of just like fear and anxiety and panic. I've been walking around for a week like that, and it's really been deeply embedded in me. And doing this practice today, I began to realize that I don't think I've fully dealt with or my mom's death. And it was like traumatic for me because I watched her slowly. She had Alzheimer's. So I
Mm.
watched her go away slowly, and I was there the night that she passed away with my sister, and I'm holding, I think that in my body, and I find, that I've been walking around my my place with my mouth closed, and I'm only shallow breathing through my nose, and I'm, my mouth, my face is all tense, and this meditation really helped me to realize that, I'm where I'm holding the tension, and
Yeah.
and then a practice that like you shared on how to begin to accept things and accept the feelings and the emotions, and so that I'm not trying to suppress them, because I think for the longest time I've been trying to suppress those emotions. So this was great and very needed, and thank you. Thank you. I'm really so happy that I can be in this group, because I feel just the power of the group, and just learning these things is just wonderful. It really helps me a lot. Thank you.
Thanks, Reed. I'm sorry about your mom's passing. And, grief has its own life. And I think some of us make the mistake that we think, well, that's been long enough. I should get over it. It has its own life. It comes up to be experienced just like every emotion. And it comes and it goes. And I think that it's important to acknowledge that it's here. It's just energy in motion. It's, you know, clearing you out for new delights. It's maybe bringing your mom's memory back. Um, so yeah, a meditation is a beautiful way to become self-realized and bypassing your emotions in lieu of hoping something feels better. And we all do that. It's part of our limbic system. It wants to avoid discomfort. But recognizing there's wisdom in some of these full spectrum of emotions. So
Yeah.
you're the only one who can become self-realized. So for you,
Thank you, Sarah.
you're welcome.
I'll
Thank
see you
you.
tonight. I'll see you at
Yeah,
7.
great. Anyone else care to share? I know we have some new people here I haven't seen for a while or haven't seen. Would you like to say hello and share how you're doing? I know it's a challenge to be alone together and we're well into it here. And I was looking at the map of the US and seeing that California, not every state is in stay-at-home orders, shelter in place, which sounds like there's a shooter out there. But, for us, we're very, very sequestered. And I think it's taking its toll on the population here with people. I actually got a big smile from someone today when I was walking, and I was surprised because I've been met with solemn faces and face masks and people shirking away. So I think it's important not to spread the contagions of fear and isolation and anxiety, but to be the light in someone's day, or at least in their moment, if you can be, and at least in your own. So,
I'd like to say, can you hear
hi,
me?
Tammy. Yes, hi, Tammy.
I'd like to say that I started meditating about 10 or 11 days ago. And I was thrilled when I saw your stuff online because I read your book. So it's helped me immensely through this. Like you said, shake the fear and try to stay in the moment. So this is good. I really, really appreciate you doing this. I teach yoga, so I do stuff some for other people, but it's so lovely to have someone else do it for me. So thank you.
You're welcome, Tammy. I know sometimes you just need your cup filled up, and maybe we can have another discussion about this, but the Yoga Sutras is a fantastic guide to living with the yamas and niyamas, the ways you behave towards others, the way you behave when no one's looking, the ways in which you move the body and become mindful of the body, right? And then also becoming mindful of the breath and using the breath to create various states of mind, and then turning the attention inward like we do when we close our eyes for meditation and withdraw the senses from the outside, and then get to meet our own mind with dharana, mindfulness and becoming focused and aware, and then dhyana, which is meditation, and ultimately that samadhi where the subject object merge in that field of love, which, whether it's for a second or for a lifetime, So having this yoga practice, and that's really what we're doing. We're yoking our attention to that sanctuary inside, to that part of us that no matter what happens outside of us, whatever, external changes, we have a center point that we can count on. I call it our soul center, that center point of peace that bends but doesn't break, that's always there, that's eternal and brilliant and content and wise. And so just to continually have creating those practices to connect you to your soul center, because the world is going to change, whether it's numbers or letters, whether it's weather or neighbors, whether it's relationships. There's nothing permanent here except for that which is looking through your eyes.
Yep. Nice. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. I wasn't talking directly to you, but I love that you're here. And the silver linings of this is, now I'm talking to you, Tammy. The silver linings of this is are people like you who are going, okay, wait a minute, maybe this is a good time to jumpstart my practice, or to self-soothe. I think many of us are learning that we might have a little bit of difficulty self-soothing. So it's a beautiful way to do that. Mm-hmm. Thanks for being here. Is there anyone else who would like to say hello, share? Hey, yes, Rachel.
Hi, I just want to thank you so much. And to tell you, I've been meditating for a while, and one of my teachers has studied with you. So it's lovely to hear, to meditate with you, which I've done, I think, once before. And then Anne Grossman-Sussman, who I know has studied with you, is a friend of mine, and we live close to each other here. So beautiful to, meditate with Anne and her teacher.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love it. And Anne's a great teacher. She, as you know, but anyone who wants to listen to her, she's doing some online meditations too. And she wrote the book, The Bliss Buddy, and, finding people to share good news with, finding people to share aha moments with, right?
Yeah. And then I just wanted to also share something, because here in New Jersey, like you in California, we're really sequestered as well, having to be in our homes. And I sing. So something that has been pouring out of me that's been helping me is to share like my favorite mantras and, share them on social media. And I just find it to be, you understand that, I mean, about sharing, so it just is a way to feel better that I'm giving back.
Oh, yeah. Well, if you have a website or something you want us to tune into, I was thinking, that's a beautiful way to kind of, because some of us are walking around totally in silence. We don't live with anyone. We find ourselves talking to our cat or dog or to the plant, and so sharing and singing and opening up this chakra, it allows for that movement of energy, because that is, remember I talked about the junction point. This is the middle of this junction point, and sometimes it can just clamp down and hold down emotions or sighs or screams or tears or laughter. So to just almost exercise it through chanting. So Rachel, if you have a Facebook page you want to share on here, or a website, we would love to hear.
I've been sharing them on Instagram, so I can.
Yeah. Great. Well, thank you. I love it. I love you doing that.
Many blessings.
Many blessings to you. I want to tune in. Sing along. I sing every morning. I sing, but I'm not chanting. I'm mostly singing Broadway songs. Anyway.
Nice.
Mostly from Godspell or Jesus Christ Superstar, or that kind of thing. Anyway, anyone else care to share? Does anyone need any support from this beautiful community? We're here to support you, pray for you, keep you in our awareness. Well, I'm going to unmute you all, give you a chance to say goodbye if you want, or share anything you like. And I'm going to stop the recording.